What's poppin'? I'm Mocha Nicole.
Miss Mo Quick.
What it is, man? It's your dog, DJ Black, Mr. Fix Your Face.
Hey everybody, Portia Fox from the Portia Fox Morning Show.
Yo, what up, though? This DJ E Smooth.
And one on DJ Holiday, Mixtape King, Ciroc Boy, Commission Guy.
And we always listen to the Re-Up Recap. You're watching Re-Up Recap.
If you watching the Re-Up Recap.
Right now, you with the Re-Up Recap with my dog, Julio.
With my boy Julio.
With my boy Julio.
With Julio.
You are at the reupspot.com. And of course, we're about to get into that Re-Up Recap with Julio.
The Re-Up Recap, man, is the only place you need to go for that brand new hip-hop, man. Re-Up, the reupspot.com. You got to check it out, man. One on DJ Holiday, Mixtape King, Ciroc Boy, Commission Guy. And I'm telling you, man, where to go. You got to check it out. Don't play yourself.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to reupspot.com, where hip-hop culture is served daily, and it's definitely dope. Well, you know it's dope if I'm involved. I'm your boy Julio, and this is Re-Up Recap. This is a special edition. We do these when big announcements happen or things happen that really move the meter that I don't want to wait till the end of the week, nor does anybody else here at reupspot.com want to wait to actually talk about these subjects. So, just a few hours ago, it came out that the NFL passed a new national anthem policy. And the gist of it is, anybody who does not stand in an appropriate manner, more or less, for the flag, that team gets fined, and then the team fines that personnel, whether it's staff members or players, meaning coaches, anybody that works for that organization. Now, what the players or coaches or whoever has the ability to do is stay in the tunnel or the locker room until after the national anthem is done playing. Now, a little back history on myself so you can understand where I'm coming from. I am the son of a veteran. I'm a veteran. I'm actually a disabled veteran. I mean, I collect disability from the Veterans Administration. And more importantly, I'm an American. And when I say American, I mean born here, not immigrated here from another country. No, really born here. And my wife's family, damn near everybody's a veteran. I still have family members that are serving right now. Currently, my little sister's over in the Middle East serving right now. Plenty of friends, you know, all different races that I've met in the military. Some still in, some from high school that are still in, some already retired, some got out before retirement. Yeah, so I love this country. I don't love everything about it, but I take the good with the bad and hope for the best. So yeah, this situation like this, it really pains me. For one, I love the NFL. I love watching football. I became that way as an adult. I didn't grow up necessarily loving football. I watched it, but not really necessarily a big fan. But as I got older, I became more and more of a fan, and now I'm a fan of that the most out of any professional sport or any sport period. I'm a bigger fan of the NFL than anything else. I think the guys are great athletes. I think it's a great sport. I love everything about it. The military, I think we have the best in the world, the best and the brightest. I think we recruit the best. Now, I mean, there's always bad seeds with anything, but nonetheless, above all, I think we have the best military in the world. Some of the best leaders in the world. But it's their right, let me say this, it's the NFL's right to implement any policy that they want. Because they're a business, they have the right to implement any policy at work, for the most part, that doesn't infringe on your personal safety and I guess freedom of speech for the most part. Now, there's certain things you can and cannot say with any business. People have internet policies with social media, all that stuff. I'm all good with that. I'm even good with the fact that they want to implement this rule, but I don't want people to be fooled by why they're doing this. First of all, they didn't start out where they used to have the teams out there for the national anthem. First of all, they just started this recently in the last, I don't know how many years ago, but in the last I believe less than a decade, that teams have actually been coming out for the national anthem and standing out there because they get paid to do it. It's a recruiting tool. You may not agree with it, but it is a recruiting tool. When they can say, you know, these people stand for the flag and this, and it makes people feel great about joining the military. Any little thing they can get to boost up their recruiting, they use as a tool. Trust me, anybody that's been through the recruiting process for the military knows exactly what I'm talking about. They use I've seen videos they use to make certain career fields in the military seem great, all that stuff. But let me say this. Nobody is addressing the reason why Colin Kaepernick originally kneeled. It's gotten watered down, and the whole thing has been hijacked by everybody else's narrative but the one that originally started this whole protest. President Trump hijacked it, and for all those who think President Trump gives a fuck about this country and being a patriot, you're out of your fucking mind. The reason he ran for being president in the first place was because the NFL would not allow him in to buy the Buffalo Bills. They wouldn't let him in that good old boys club, so he focuses his attention on running for the NFL, and he decided to take up a cause that would hit a nerve with a lot of people, which was standing for the NFL and change the narrative of why they do it, because he has such a big platform and people dumb enough to actually follow what he's saying when that shit is actually stupid. When you listen to the reasons why people like Colin Kaepernick and the other players, Malcolm Jenkins and everybody else who kneel for the flag, and why they did it, and you still don't understand that it has nothing to do with veterans. Now, I can't speak for every veteran. I can't speak for every black person. I can't speak for every mixed person, which I am mixed race. I can't speak for every male. I can't speak for every human being in the U.S. I can't speak for any of everybody. I can only speak for myself and my beliefs. And those who I've had these conversations with, which both are veterans and non-veterans. So I can only speak for the point of views from those conversations, from what they have explained to me, their point of view on it, and my point of view on it. And for anybody who actually has had this conversation with me or conversations I've seen, it has absolutely nothing to do with the military or the flag in general. What it has to do with is the fact that what the flag stands for, which is supposed to protect those who can't speak for themselves and everybody in this country. And it has not been doing that. We have not been living up to that creed as a country. That is the problem. That is the reason why these people kneel. That is the reason for these protests, because black and brown people are being shot like we're playing duck hunt or some other type of game to gain points, when in fact it's proven time and time again that if the shooter appears to be white, that they get taken into custody without being shot. Very small percentage of white shooters that still have guns, that aren't just opening fire on police, don't get taken into custody without being killed. Mass shooter from the other day in Santa Fe, taken into custody. He had 2 weapons on him, taken into custody without being killed. The guy Dylan Roof in South Carolina, taken into custody. Come on, bro, but you got people like Philando Castile, killed. Mike Brown, killed. Tamir Rice, a little kid. They rolled up on a little kid who was like, I believe Tamir Rice was 12 at the time he got killed, and he got shot for having a toy gun. Not to mention the countless number of other people that's been killed that didn't even have weapons, like Eric Gardner, did not have weapons. So until they can stand up and protect everybody, we have to do what we have to do to get our voice heard. Now that's protesting. It's not harming anybody to kneel. They're not disrespecting anybody. They never said fuck the military, fuck the police. Nah, nobody says fuck the police. What they simply are saying is fuck the bad police, fuck the crooked police. We salute police. Everybody knows that you need protection. That's why we have them in places. To protect and serve, not to harass us, not to kill us, not to fear us, and we shouldn't fear them. It's called community policing. We need more people to stand up for the people who are the voiceless. We're the minority in this country. While people feel like we're infringing on their rights and stuff, please stop that. We're not infringing on your rights. We're just asking you to look at us and treat us in the same manner in which you want to be treated, which is fair. That's all we're asking. And then you back the national anthem. You want us to stand for it as black people. have no problem with that. I actually stand for it. I put my hand over my heart because I do love this country. I don't love everything about it. We have a lot of work to do as a country, black, white, and otherwise. Don't get me wrong, there are ignorant people all over. Just like there are real ignorant white people, there are real ignorant black people. But let me say this. It's not the same as what President Trump said about good and bad people on the sides with the neo-Nazis. Nah, fuck that. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. Let me clarify. I'm not saying, oh, it's good people with the KKK. I mean, ignorant people with the KKK, and then there's ignorant people that equal out on the black side. No. I'm just saying there's good and bad people on both sides, and some people take it to the extreme, and it doesn't help anything. That's what I'm simply saying. I'm not talking about Black Lives Matter, because I think the Black Lives Matter movement is what we need, and it needs to be more directed. It needs a better direction in where it goes, and then people need to go out and do the right things. I am telling you, rioting is not, tearing up people's shit is not necessarily the answer. So when people go out doing it, and that's not all the time, that's what they choose to show. That's why news makes ratings, because they show shit that actually shocks you and makes you think one way. So it depends on the media in which you watch, and both sides are guilty of doing that shit, left and right. I just need regular news. I'm tired of this left and right shit. Like, we need news that are actually facts. Not your facts, not their facts, but the facts. Just say what happened, who, what, when, where, and why. Give me those facts and leave the rest of that fuck shit to the side. What I am simply saying, back to the point about the whole policy. Let me get back to that. Basically, you can still not stand. Now, my thing is, they did this shit for the bottom line. They ain't do this shit because they give a fuck about the national anthem or none of that. Nobody wants to disrespect it. Let me say that. They ain't give a fuck about your opinion with that. They still want to collect the check. So what they did was they said that, okay, if players don't want to kneel for it, we don't want to have that happen, what we'll do is give them the option to stay in the locker room or in the tunnel until afterwards. Now, I'm going to tell you what the fuck is going to happen with that tunnel shit, or what's going to happen with that locker room shit. Somebody's gonna take to fucking social media or some other shit and show that shit, and then it's still gonna be an outrage, or people are gonna be mad. Well, how come these players are on the field? Because they don't fucking want to be, and they don't have to be. It's not in their fucking contract that they gotta stand on the field for a national anthem. Now, once again, I stand for it because I believe that's what I believe in. They have a reason why they're not standing, and I agree with the reason why they're not standing. Trust and believe. I'm black. I agree with the actual reason. Not anybody's watered down reason or their hijacked reason for it. I believe in the reason why Colin Kaepernick originally started this. And addressing Colin Kaepernick, you cannot fucking tell me that there are 64 quarterbacks, because there's what, 32 teams? So 64 quarterbacks, because every team has at least 2, some carry 3 quarterbacks. There's not 64 quarterbacks in this world that are better than Colin Kaepernick. Now, let's break it down even further for the ones who want to take it to that level. Yes, he fits a certain type of system to an extent, but great athletes are great athletes, and they can make things work. But if you really want to go there, the Cleveland Browns had Johnny Manziel, who's a better fit for that type of offense, Johnny Manziel or Colin Kaepernick. Now, I'm not saying that you start Kaepernick over Johnny Manziel when you draft him, but he should have been his backup so he can actually teach him something about playing pro ball, since you wanted a running quarterback. And why the fuck did Mike Glennon get a 3-year, $45 million contract? Now, we know he didn't see all that money. He probably didn't even see half. But nonetheless, you're going to tell me Mike Glennon was better than Colin Kaepernick? Are you out of your fucking mind? Come on, and it's just numerous quarterbacks going down the line. It's like the whole Michael Vick thing when you tried to tell me Curtis Painter should have had a job before Michael Vick. That shit didn't make any sense to me at all. So, for you to tell me that Colin Kaepernick couldn't get a job and he wasn't blackballed, you're crazy, and you're lying to me and yourself when you thought that shit and decided to say it to me. This shit is ludicrous, and it's not getting any better. And to address the whole national anthem, let's break down this whole shit that we actually sing. Whole national anthem. Let me drop some facts on you. And I wanted to make sure that I had the actual facts in front of me, so I looked this shit up. So we're going back to the whole, when the national anthem was created. So it was created in September 13th, 1814. And it was created by Key Francis, I believe is his name. Let me look up his Francis Scott Keys, excuse me. Francis Scott Keys. Hey, you're stupid. You didn't know the guy's name who created it. I don't give a fuck. Most of y'all don't know that the song is racist anyways. No, you don't know, like I didn't know until I was adult, there was actually full version. The reason I didn't know is because fucking Google was not around, and unless somebody told you, hey, look this up and where it came from, you wouldn't have fucking knew either. So don't fucking look down on me for not knowing this shit. But it's sung about, basically, I'm gonna read this couple lines to you. You tell me what the fuck you think about it. Their blood has washed out their foul footsteps, pollution. No refugee could save the hireling and the slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. So you're talking about killing slaves, and you're happy about this shit because they were fighting for their freedom. But this the song that you want me to stand for and put my hand over my heart. Now I do that because this is not the version we sang. And there is no way on God's green earth you could have got any black person with common sense to stand and put their motherfucking hand over their heart and pledge allegiance to that flag if you had left that shit that way and we sung that full version. So before people try to criticize people for not standing for something, I think they should know the whole reason of why people don't do it. Now let me clarify. People are not kneeling because those words are in the original song of the Star Spangled Banner, because 99% of people did not know that existed until recently when it became an issue when people looked up the real version of the Star Spangled Banner. Let me say that. But stop being so quick to say we won or trust me, the NFL does not give a flying fuck about your personal views on this. They care about their bottom dollar. If their bottom dollar said kneeling for this actually improve their thing, or they could get a deal on knee pads and make more money, they fucking would. They don't care about it. People, you are a number to them. A dollar sign. That's all the fuck you are to them. So quit standing up for that and actually look at the reason why people do stuff. We're not just kneeling and saying we kneeling just to be doing that shit. We really are getting shot out here. I'm really scared to get stopped by the police. That shit really terrifies me. And if I'm with my kids, it terrifies me that much more because I have to worry about, damn, am I gonna get shot? And if they shoot, are they gonna hit somebody in the back seat of my wife sitting next to me? That's the shit me as a black male I really have to think about. Y'all can say, oh, he overreacting. Well, then tell me that I'm overreacting when you pull footage. You can just put black man getting shot and pull fucking 50 videos. But I want you to pull up white male get shot by the cops and see how many that you pull up where it's clear that damn they got a weapon pointed at the police. Whereas you pull up shit, you can pull up numerous videos of motherfuckers not even having guns and dying in police custody. What is it? Freddie Gray in Baltimore, Sandra Bland in Texas. I'm naming names that I shouldn't even know these people, but they had something behind them for everybody to figure it out because they died at the hands of police and they stuff became famous. For dying, they didn't even have a weapon. You can't, how the fuck did she hang herself in a cell? Oh, something with a trash can or some shit like that? Are you crazy? Eric Gardner choked out. Tamir Rice, 12-year-old, shot in a park playing with a gun, a toy, not a real gun, a toy gun with the orange shit on the front, if I'm not mistaken. But nonetheless, they rolled up and they killed this kid in less than 10 seconds. They barely stopped the car. Like the car was still rolling a little bit, just shot him. Like, when are we gonna change the narrative and change the conversation and really have a real conversation about this and really deal with it? When are we gonna stop covering for the bad police? Because there are good police out there. I'm not saying all police are bad. I'm not saying people don't get put in positions and they gotta make split-second decisions that it's hard to make. I'm not saying any of that. I'm not saying a police officer's job is easy. I'm not saying that. But first and foremost, you all know what you signed up for. Just like when you joined the military, when I joined the military, I knew what I signed up for. So when 9/11 hit, you know, everybody got tight because we didn't know what the fuck to expect because none of us had been through any wars. Now the ones who had been in there prior to it, they kind of knew from Desert Storm what they were getting into, but none of them had really been in battle or no shit. We didn't know what the fuck we was gonna do with 9/11, but we were prepared for it and we were ready to do it because that's what we signed up for. So when you police officers sign up and you say, well, this, and this, well, motherfucker, go get another job. If you can't handle it, do some other shit. If you can't handle the stress that comes along with that paycheck that you knew you were gonna fucking get because it's in the paperwork when you sign up, fucking do something else. That's what happens in the world. I didn't like working for a company, so what I did was I followed my dream and ended up in another place. And I'm not saying you got to quit your job and follow this dream that you have that, you know, you feel like you couldn't follow otherwise. No, I'm not saying that and then risk it all. But what I'm saying is if you cannot handle being a police officer and properly conduct yourself, then you need to find something else to do. If you're scared to be a police officer, if you're literally scared, don't be a police officer. That shit is dangerous. Like, I did security in the military, law enforcement in the military. That shit is totally different from here because you're dealing with people on a more, like, random people. Law enforcement on a Air Force base, 90% of the people you are dealing with work and live on that base. At least if they don't live there, they at least work there, being either civilian contractors or military personnel themselves. And then the other 10% are the family members, and then occasionally civilians that do come on base. So I'm not saying it's exactly the same, but nonetheless, it's still training you go through. And the training, we need to be retrained. We need to retrain the way we think. We need to be retrained the way in which we do the jobs. Like, this is crazy. You shouldn't go out there and just, if you have a problem with people based on their race, you shouldn't have a public service job. You should be at fucking home, you know, fucking fixing your life. Because if you hate somebody based strictly on their race or their religion or their sex or any other thing that is stupid, you have issues. I can't see hating somebody based on their race, based on their religion, based on any of this superficial shit. And some of it, I can't change my skin color, so that's not necessarily superficial, but that's also something I can't fucking change. I'm not willing to change. I'm proud to be the skin tone I am, the race I am, the ethnicity I am. I'm proud of all these things, and I wouldn't change them if I could. I need this world to be a better place. Y'all need to make it a better place. Stop doing stupid shit, going out shooting people like it's a fucking game. This shit is getting old and we're getting tired of it. And when people get tired of shit, innocent people get hurt because the frustration can't be dealt with any other way. Now let's bring it back to the original topic of the NFL. I don't agree with them enforcing policies on whether people can stand or sit for something like the national anthem. But then again, like I said, it's their right as a business, but they did give people options. So they have the options to stand in the locker room, which is fine. Cool, I'm with it. And in the tunnel. Now, you gave them that option. You didn't say how they had to do it. And my thing is, for all y'all that are so hell-bent on these people standing for the national anthem, I think they should shut down the fucking bathrooms, and I think they should shut down the fucking concession stands during this period. I just watched Bob Levy, and I think that's a hell of a thing. Oh, they gotta stand for the national anthem? Make your motherfucking ass stand for the next. Since you so hell-bent on people standing for that motherfucker, when you at home, show us some video of you standing for the national anthem. Since you so hell-bent on everybody else standing for the national anthem. Like I said, I stand for it. That's my belief. If you don't want to stand for it and you have a belief in it, hey, more power to you. But I will say this. I do not believe in stomping on the flag, destroying the flag, or burning the flag. I have no interest in seeing any of that stupid shit. I don't agree with all the policies and things that go on in this country, but in no which way, form, shape, or any of that do I agree in destroying the flag. No, no, no. Like I said, I love this country. I just don't love every policy or everything that goes in it, and I have a belief for hope. And hopefully one day shit will change. It's not showing anytime soon, but hopefully shit will change before I leave the face of this earth. I never thought I'd see a black president, but apparently I was wrong with that one and we had one. Now that doesn't change everything. It didn't even make things all that much better as far as racial tensions go and things in this country. People just were not as emboldened as they are now to be idiots and go out and do stupid shit in public the way they are right now, and the way the trend seems to continue. So there's a lot of conversations we need to have, but nonetheless we need to have these conversations. So that's all I'm gonna say today for this midweek recap. Make sure y'all check us out every week, man. This shit had to be said. I couldn't hold it, and I'm sorry we kind of went left to right and all this shit, but this shit I had to get off my chest. And here at realspot.com, they give me the freedom to do that, so that's what the fuck I'm gonna do. Hey, until next time, I'm your boy Julio. Come back every week right here on realspot.com, where hip hop culture served daily is definitely dope. Peace.